Hey everybody, Star 6 Wars 1 here, and welcome to my very first countdown. My countdown of the top 10 things I find disturbing in anime. Now we all have moments where we are scared, disgusted, or creeped out. This list is devoted to those moments. Bear in mind that what I find disturbing and what you find disturbing are two totally different things, and you will not agree with me on every one of my choices, especially one later down the list. That said, I encourage everyone to post your comments for what you find disturbing in anime. Now, before I get onto the list itself, I'd like to give an honorable mention to one that I didn't put on the list because I'm too recent from the anime, but it was enough to creep me out. You can almost consider this my number 11. The Titans, Faces of the Titans on Attack on Titan. God, those things are creepy. The Titans themselves are a creepy concept in of themselves, but the faces they make sure that it's just creepier and creepier. I find them quite disturbing because it's almost like you're smiling while you're killing someone. How wrong is that? Anyway, without further ado, let us begin. Number 10. The twins Sorath and Tyrell from Shakugan no Shana. God, I hate these characters. They are by far my least favorite characters in Shakugan no Shana for the following reasons. 1. Sorath has only one goal in mind. One goal. To get the Nietono no Shana from Shana, and Tyrell wants to just make Sorath happy. By the way, Tyrell will feed him humans by kissing him. Do I even need to explain why that's disturbing? And ew. They are creepy. Just, The only reason they're not any higher on the list is because they don't last long in the anime. And they die pretty quickly. Thank God. Before I get to number 9, I should mention right now, there will be major spoilers throughout the entire list from here on. And I'll be spoiling the plot of several different anime, at least to the extent of I need to. That said, number 9. Her Problems Ending from Full Metal Panic: The Second Raid. This is a creepy episode. The main female lead, Kaname Chidori, is being hunted down by an assassin and that's out to kill her for, at the time, unknown reasons. She is saved, but not by the hero of the show, by the villain. The main villain of the franchise. It's creepy because he kills the assassin with no remorse and almost looks to be enjoying it. Worse, he steals Kaname's first kiss. That's not only wrong, but it's creepy, but her reaction to it is all the more disturbing. That's quite why it is on the list, but I will mention it's lower on the list because its disturbing value has diminished for me. It's not gone, but it's diminished. Moving on. Number 8. Sayaka's mental deterioration from Madoka Magica. Now, on this list you might see a running theme of characters either having a major breakdown or going completely insane. This is of no exception, but I'll talk about it from here. We start the series of Madoka Magica with Sayaka being this plunky yet outgoing girl, and get to see her gradually fall and fall and fall. To start off, she first learns of the magical girls and thinks she should be one of them. up until episode 3's ending, where one of the major characters, the one who introduced them to the magical girls in the first place, ends up being killed quite brutally, might I add. Then, in episode 5, she decides to become a magical girl to fix the arm of a person she had a crush on. Let's just say that does not end well. She finds out later on that magical girls are pretty much leeches, needing to continue to be magical girls by killing these witches, and that without it, she's useless and will corrupt her slowly but surely. Worse, she also learns that she's basically not human anymore. So she's too afraid to ask her crush out, and then her friend backstabs her by saying she has the same thing, and then pretty much goes and talks to him about it. Then she continues to spiral downward until finally she's hit despair worth no other. And then, in one of the most shocking plot twists in the entire series, she transforms into a witch. And it is actually fairly gruesome and pretty depressing. I found this isn't very high on the list just because I've seen freakouts done better, and we'll be getting to some of those later down the list, but this does deserve honorable mentioning, and it is my number 8. Number 7, Pride from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Now, sadly, I cannot get very much into his character without giving away too much. But what I can say is, once you find out who he is, it adds to the creepy factor, along with the fact that he can use his shadow things to attack people and potentially control them to some extent. This is a fairly creepy character, and it is my number 7. Number 6, Barry the Chopper from Fullmetal Alchemist 2003, Episode 8 only. Now, I've got a lot of explaining to do with this one, because Pride is admittedly at times a lot more creepier than Barry, but I expected Pride to be creepy. Barry, I did not. In the Brotherhood, they play him out more for comedy. In here, he's scary, at least in episode 8. He captures Ed with no problem. He's a murderer. He's in plain sight. And he will chop it up because it's fun. And if it wasn't for Ed, if it wasn't for Al, Ed may be dead. Now, another reason why he's on here is because he's human. Perfectly human. At least, he was. He's not a chimera. He's not a homunculus. He's not even an alchemist. He's just a regular old human who could just walk up to you, capture you, and then kill you, like any old serial murderer. Yes, I find him that disturbing for those reasons. He is my number 6 for that. Number 5. Kurumi Tokisaki from Data Live. Good God, this character is creepy. One of her eyes is a clock. I don't even want to mention it that way. 2, she has the ability to eat people, which involves killing them and taking their life force. And she acts very seductive. Basically, the best word I can describe her is femme fatale. She is admittedly kind of beautiful, but she is so very deadly. She actually changed the show for me a little bit. From the admittedly kind of funny show to a very, very creepy part. It went back again afterward, but I won't ever forget this character because of that. And that is why she is my number 5. Number 4. Pierre LeFou's ending from Cowboy Bebop. Like number 4, this was a creepy episode to begin with, but this one was much creepier from start to finish. However, I find the ending to be completely one of the most disturbing moments I've seen in anime. To start off with, Spike, the main character, is being chased around trying to be murdered by a psychopathic, near-invincible creep whose mind digresses throughout the story until when he finally is broken down through his wall, he goes straight into a mental breakdown that I have yet to see re-witness. He pretty much goes to the mentality of a child crying for his mother, and then gets crushed to death by a moving thing in an amusement park. Long story, and it was very creepy to watch. I had to watch the next episode immediately afterwards just to get over it. And I'll be honest, this is, in my opinion, one of the most disturbing freakouts I've ever seen, let alone an anime. And that is why it is number 4 on this list. Number 3, Early Predicaments Ending from Future Diary. Boy, this episode! We started off as a light-hearted episode with the main characters Yuki and Yuno in the amusement park, just having a good old time trying to stay away from Ninth. And it slowly goes into hell as it goes on and on and on, until Yuki discovers a very dark secret about Yuno. He discovers corpses in her house. And when she finds him, there are literally tears in her eyes, and showing just a sadness and disappointment. Then he runs for his life, and when the episode ends, you see the crazy Yuno's eyes, and boy, it's almost scary. It's one of the very few scenes that I can actually admit to being truly scared by. Pretty much, it's creepy. It's one of the creepiest episodes I've ever seen of anime. And that is why it is number 3. Number 2, Roy Fulker's death from Robotech. Controversy. Okay, admittedly, this wasn't meant to be taken as a disturbing scene. More of a tearjerker, it probably seems. But I was young when I watched this, and it left an impact on me, and I'll never forget. Roy comes back from a battle injured but doesn't get checked out. He later collapses from internal bleeding and dies minutes later. Why I find this disturbing is because in the story, he just drops dead. No heroic sacrifice, no dying in the line of duty, just drops on the floor without warning. His death is more specifically how he dies, has left a mental scar that hasn't gone away. I haven't seen the scene in 5 years, but it terrifies me to think of someone dropping dead for no apparent reason. Because of this, I can never watch that scene ever again. It is that bad. But you know what the worst part is? This is only number 2. Number 1 is what I consider far worse than it is. So disturbing for me, I had a difficult time seeing it the first time, and will have a difficult time ever seeing it again. And my number 1 most disturbing thing in anime is Bloodstained Euphemia from Code Geass. Wow, this episode. It starts out with Yuffie trying to organize the Japanese people for their new area, and then Lelouch comes in trying to put a stop to it first. Then the two of them have a long talk, and it ends with them making peace, or so we think. Then he accidentally Geasses Yuffie to become a genocidal maniac hellbent on killing every Japanese person. This alone is somewhat disturbing, since Yuffie was one of the most kind characters in Code Geass. What makes it worse is during the episode, that moment, you see her struggle, you see the horror she's about to go through, and she cannot stop herself. What's worse is just that it ends with the fact that there is no way to save her. Lelouch comes to the decision that he has no choice but to kill her. And I'll be very honest, at that point, and by this point in the show, there really was no other way but to kill her. And even if there was an alternative, what do you think the psychological damage would have been to her? This is disturbing because, one, you're changing her personality. Two, you have just destroyed one of the kindest characters in the series. And third, it would break down a lot of the characters and would set up the rest of the events of the series, including the eventual fate of Lelouch himself. That is why this is my #1 most disturbing anime moment I've ever seen. And I can never watch this episode again with a clear conscience. This is Star 6 Wars 1, and thank you for watching.